We understood till monotonic preference. Now this is consumer behavior part 2, where we will be understanding about the features of indifference curve. Indifference curve slopes downward from left to right. That is why it has a convex shape. An indifference curve slopes downward from left to right. In order to have more quantities of good, the consumer has to give up the quantity of the other good. The second feature is higher the indifference curve, higher the level of satisfaction. As you can see here, the goods X is increasing and goods Y is remaining same, to which every time the indifference curve is reaching to a new level as the quantity of goods X is increasing. Okay, so the higher the level of indifference curve, higher the level of satisfaction. Next, two indifference curve never intersect each other, because every combination of indifference curve, as you can see every two combination of commodities gives the consumer same level of satisfaction. So every time each level of combination keep on giving the consumer greater level of satisfaction. So there is no chance for an indifference curve to intersect. If it is intersecting, it can lead to a conflicting result. IC cannot be positively sloped. IC curve cannot be positively sloped. As you can see, this also to the maximum, this goods also to the maximum, and maximum, which is not possible. So IC curve cannot be positively sloped, which will give unrealistic and conflicting result. IC curve cannot be straight line. IC curve cannot be straight line because MRS diminishes every time. So there is no chance for an MRS to remain constant. It cannot be concave. See, the IC curve is always in the shape of a, when you are going to get one thing to the maximum, other has to be minimum. You cannot purchase this to the maximum and other to the maximum. It's not possible. So it is not convex. It is not concave in nature. It is concave in nature. You neither cannot touch x-axis, neither can touch y-axis, because if you are choosing it, if it touch to any of the axis, it means here the other commodity is preferred as 0, which is not possible because indifference curve itself is a set of two commodities combination. So here you cannot choose any one commodity over the other, or else it is not feasible. Next we'll understand consumer budget. Let's assume consumer has fixed amount of money, that is income, to spend on two goods. Prices are given. The consumer cannot buy every combination of two goods which he or she wants to consume. So the consumption bundle that are available to the consumer depends on the price of two goods and also the income of the consumer. Everything, it depends on price and income in order to create a demand. Okay, so budget set and budget line. Budget set is the collection of all bundles that the consumer can buy with the income at the prevailing market price. Budget line is the same graphical representation of the bundles which cost exactly equals to income. So budget set is the collection of the bundles that the consumer is willing to buy from the income with the available market price. It is the graphical representation of the same bundle is called as budget line. Now, as you can see, price of 1 is bananas, price of 2 is mangoes. So P1 is equals to banana, X1 is equal to quantity of banana, P2 is equal to mango, X2 is equal to quantity of mango. So it is the bundle consisting both of them. So P1 X1 plus P2 X2 is equals to income. So if these are the bundles, if he is purchasing 0 bananas, then all the maximum mangoes he will purchase. If he is purchasing 1 banana, then 3 mangoes he'll purchase. 2 or 2, 3 or 1, 4 or 0. It means either if he purchases maximum to the mangoes, then 0 bananas, and if he is purchasing maximum of the bananas, then 0 mangoes. So it is as per the price and income of the consumer. P1 X1 plus P2 X2 is equals to M. Now we'll understand the derivation of slopes of a budget line. The slope of the budget line measures the amount of change in mangoes required per unit of change in bananas along the budget line. So if there is any change, so for example, P1 is the price of bananas, X1 is the quantities of bananas, P2 is equals to price of mango, X2 is equal to quantity of mango, should be equal to income. If there is any change in bananas, automatically there will be change in mangoes. So P1 X1 plus change in X1 plus P2 X2 plus change in X2 should be lesser or equal to income. So it shows the negative sign. It is an inverse relationship, because in order to have more of this quantity, you have to give up this quantity, and vice versa. So that is why it has negative relationship. In order to buy more of x1, x2 has to be sacrificed. Next, we'll understand shift in budget set. There is a chance for the shift in budget set, especially if income increases. If income increases, automatically the budget will increases. Before it was 100 rupee for 50-50. Now income increases, so he is able to afford for more, then he'll go for 100 and 100. So automatically the budget line shifted. If income decreases, automatically the budget set will also contract. So before he was spending 200, now he's spending 100. So budget has already contracted due to decrease in income. And apart from income, there is other chance where the budget can set. It is due to change in price. By chance, in both the commodity, one price of bananas has been reduced. So what will happen? The price of bananas is reduced now. It increases the purchasing power of the consumer. If it increases the purchasing power of the consumer, he'll purchase the bananas as it is, and he is able to afford more of the bananas. Before he was purchasing this much, now he is able to purchase this much. So there is a shift in the budget set due to change in price of the one good. And if the price of bananas reduces, then automatically the budget will contract from here to here. So this is the shift in budget set. The shift in budget set happens due to increase or decrease in income, or increase or decrease in change of price of any one commodity. Now we'll discuss about the optimal choice of a consumer. The budget set consists of all bundles that are available to the consumer. The consumer can choose her consumption bundle from the budget set. In economics, it is assumed that the consumer chooses her consumption bundle on the basis of her taste and preference over the bundles in the budget set. It is assumed a consumer is a rational individual. A rational individual clearly knows what is good and bad for them, and the rational consumer will always choose the bundle which will give him the greatest level of satisfaction. From here, we'll come with the proper explanation of the optimal choice of a consumer. The indifference curve depicts the choice and the priority of the consumer. It shows the satisfaction. The budget line shows the ability to pay. It shows the affordability. It shows desirability. It shows affordability. In order to achieve consumer equilibrium that maximizes satisfaction or utility, the indifference curve have to be combined with the budget line to determine the combination of goods that can be purchased within a certain amount of income or budget. So assumptions, there are certain assumptions. Income of the consumer is given. Consumer is rational and he wants to maximize his or her satisfaction. Price of goods and services are constant. Consumer is aware of indifference map, and all goods are homogeneous and divisible. A is greater than B and B is greater than C and A is greater than C. We know the consumer knows about the indifference curve. As you can see here, so it is the combination of indifference curve and budget line. So this is IC1, this is IC2, and this is IC3. So wherever the indifference curve combines with the indifference curve and budget line is tangent, that is the optimal choice of a consumer. So as you can see, point B is not an optimal choice of a consumer as it lies in IC1. Why the consumer will go for lesser satisfaction when he can afford for a better satisfaction? C is also not optimal choice of a consumer as it lies in IC1 itself. Why the consumer will go for lesser satisfaction when he can afford for a better satisfaction? D is also not the optimal choice of a consumer, though it will give maximum satisfaction, but still as it is out of budget line, the consumer may have the desirability but may not have the affordability. A is the optimal choice of a consumer because the desirability meets affordability. He will getting the maximum satisfaction, also he has the ability to pay for it. So there are 4 indifference curve: IC1, IC2, IC3 and IC4. Budget line is also drawn. A, B, C, D points are kept. A, B, C, D points are there. B is not optimal as it is lesser satisfaction. C is also not optimal as it lies in the AC1 itself. D is also not optimal. It will give maximum satisfaction, but it is out of budget line. It means the consumer is not able to afford for it. A is optimal because it is only combination which will give higher utility, also on the budget line, shows the affordability of the consumer. Yes, here the desirability meets the affordability, meets affordability. So he is also getting maximum satisfaction, and also he has the ability to pay for it. Consumer equilibrium or optimal choice of a consumer is achieved when budget line is tangent to indifference curve. Point A where IC and budget line has same slope. So price of X divided by price of Y is equal to marginal utility of X divided by marginal utility of Y. In order to use them, you have to pay for it. In order to use it, you have to pay for it. This rule states that willingness to substitute mx by mu is equivalent to the ability to pay. It means if you want to have more of this than this, then even you should have the ability to pay more of this than this. So this is the optimal choice of a consumer. Next we'll move on. Demand. The quantity of a demand that a consumer is willing to buy and is able to afford in the given prices of goods and consumers' taste and preference is called demand. For demand, there should be price should match, there should be taste and preference should match, the income of the consumer should match, and he is willing to buy, then only the demand is created. Demand curve and law of demand. If the price of other goods like consumers, income, taste, preference is remaining constant, and the relationship between price and quantity demanded is called as demand function. As you can see, whenever the price is high, the demand is low. Whenever price is low, the demand is high. So demand function is X is equal to function of price. Demand quantity demanded is the direct relationship with the price. Function of price, how the function of price, the quantity is demanded. Now we'll understand deriving a demand curve from indifference curve and budget constraint. Consider an individual consuming bananas x1 and mangoes x2. Income is M and prices P1 and P2 respectively. The price of banana is keep on dropping from P1 to P2 and P2 to P3, and M is constant. Income is constant. Even though the income is same, the consumer is able to purchase more of bananas now because the bananas price has reduced. The budget set expands. The new consumption equilibrium is now on the new indifference curve. Therefore, the drop in price leads to more increase in the consumption of banana because the consumer want to maximize his satisfaction. So the demand curve is negatively sloped due to income and substitution effect. As the price of banana decreases, the consumers substitute the bananas more than purchasing mango. He purchased more bananas than mangoes to maximize his satisfaction because the price of banana is keep on dropping, so that the demand for the bananas goes up. So whenever the price drops, it increases the purchasing power of the consumer. When the purchasing power of the consumer increases, he is able to purchase more from the available income. So that lead to more demand in the good. Now we will understand that with the help of a diagram. So as you can see here, this is the diagram. So as you can see, firstly what is happening here, the price of banana was P1, so their demand was this much. When the price of banana P2, the demand is this much. When the price of banana is P3, the demand is this much. So this is the law of demand. This is the demand curve. Now what is happening here, when the price was P1, this was the budget and this was the indifference curve. So this was the quantity of bananas. So this is the quantity of bananas, okay, and this is the quantity of mangoes, and this is the demand of bananas, and this is the price. For this completely shows to this one, this quantity. As you can see, now what happened, the price decreased to P2. So automatically he is able to purchase more quantity, and there is a new indifference curve. So he is able to purchase more of banana because the price reduced, it allowed him to purchase more. When the price reduced to more, and this showcases this situation, x1. And then when the price reduced more to P3, then what happened? The indifference curve also expanded, and there is a new curve now, and this is the third quantity which completely depicts this one. Okay, are you able to understand? Whenever the price of banana is decreasing, the budget line is expanding, so that we are reaching every time to a new indifference curve, because it is all due to the price is getting reduced, the demand is getting higher over here. So this first tip, when the price was high, this is depicting to this indifference curve. When the price was less, this is depicting to this indifference curve, this. And when price got reduced more, this is depicting to a new indifference curve here, you can see. So here the consumer want to satisfy his wants, so that he is substituting more bananas, and he is not purchasing that much of mangoes, he is purchasing more of the bananas with his available income in order to maximize the satisfaction. Now we will understand what is the difference between normal goods and inferior goods. Whenever demand increases, the income increases, demand increases for the normal goods. Whenever income increases, demand decreases for the inferior goods. It is preferred by consumer. As income increases, the consumer prefers more of the normal goods. As income increases, the consumer does not prefer more of the inferior goods. There is a positive relationship with the normal good. Income increases, normal goods demand also increases. Here there is a negative relationship with the income. Income increases, demand for the inferior goods decreases. So branded clothes like fruit, milk, etc. will come under normal good. Ragi, bajra, that will all come under example of the inferior goods, loose products. So it moves towards the same direction, it moves towards the positive direction. It will be very helpful for your 4 marks answer. You can, as it is, you can write this one. Now we are going to discuss about the substitute and complementary goods. Goods that can be replaced each other in use, which is replaceable, it's substitute. Complementary, the goods that are used together to satisfy a need, it is called as complementary goods. If the price of one rises, demand for the other increases. Okay, for example, if the coffee price increases, then the tea demand increases. If the price of one rises, the demand of other decreases. For example, if the petrol price increases, the demand for bike decreases. They have positive cross elasticity. As you can see, there is positive cross elasticity. As you can see, there is negative cross elasticity. So example for substitute is tea, coffee, coke, Pepsi. Example for complementary is car, petrol, pen, ink, etc. Now we are going to understand the movement along the demand curve and shift in demand curve with the help of 2 diagrams. First we'll understand shift in demand curve. Shift in demand curve is because apart from only price, rest everything remains same, then that also lead to shift. Okay, for example, except price is not changing here, only what is changing, other things changes, then it leads to shift. The shift in demand curve can be explained clearly with the help of a diagram with the changes in the determinants of demand. For example, here you can see the consumer income changes. So when there is a change in consumer income, the rest nothing changes, only the consumer income changes. So if income of the consumer increases, the demand for goods increases, that is normal goods demand increases, and the inferior goods demand decreases. Okay, so as you can see, why the shift is happening, everything is remaining same, only there is a change in income. If the income increases, the demand for normal good increases and the demand for inferior goods decreases. So this is called a shift in demand curve due to change in income. And there is another reason why there can be a shift in demand curve, that is due to the price of the related goods, that is due to the price of substitute and complementary goods. If the if there is a instead of this is the demand of tea. The coffee price increased, so the demand of tea will increase from D to D1, and the demand of coffee will decrease from D to D2. Okay, so that is what. Or else, if it is a complementary good, for example, if the petrol price increased, so the demand for petrol bike will also get decreased from D to D2. So this is the possible shift in demand curve due to the change in the price of related good. If price of a related good changes, the demand for the goods which the consumer wants to buy changes at each level of its price. Hence, there is a shift in the demand curve. If there is increase in the price of substitute good, the demand curve shift to right. Coffee price increases, people will demand more tea. If there is increase in the complementary price, the demand curve shift to left. Petrol price increases, bike demand decreases. For substitute, demand curve shift to right. For complementary goods, demand curve shift to left. As here you can see, for normal good, demand curve shift to right. For inferior goods, demand curve shift to left. So this is called as the shift in the demand curve. Shift in the demand curve happens due to two things: change in income and change in price of the related good. Under change in income, you should write about normal and inferior good. Under change in related good, you should write about substitute and complementary good. Now we will understand movement in demand curve. The amount of a goods that the consumer chooses depends on the price of the good, price of related goods, income of the consumer, and everything remains same. So movement happens only due to the relationship between price and quantity demanded. Higher the price, lesser the quantity demanded. Lesser the price, higher the quantity demanded. So because of this, there is a movement. When there is the same movement in the one place, it is called as movement. If the demand curve completely changes the place from one to the other, that calls as shift. The demand function is the relationship between the amount of the good and its price when other things remains constant. So increase in price, demand decreases. Decrease in price, demand increases. So this is leading to movement. Now we've understood what are the shift and movement in the demand curve. Now we'll explain the market demand with the help of a diagram. The market demand for a good at a particular price is total demand of all consumers taken together. We know how to calculate a market demand. It is very complicated. In order to understand, here we are going to take only two consumers in the market. Okay, only two consumers demanding for a particular good in the market. With the help of it, we will be able to calculate the market demand. Suppose this is A individual and this is B individual. A is demanding, when it is 50 rupee, A is demanding as 20 units of the commodity. When the price is 30, the A is demanding for 50 units of the commodity. Now this is B individual. When the price was 50, he is demanding 40 units of the commodity. When the price now reduced to 30, again she is demanding only 60 of the commodity. When we add their individual demand, we will get our market demand. So when the price was 50, she demanded for 20 and she is demanding for 40. So 60 is the demand. And when the price is 30, she is demanding 50 and she is demanding 60. The 110 is the demand. So this is the market demand. By calculating consumer 1 plus consumer 2, we will get the market demand. Suppose the price is P1, the quantity demand is Q1 of the consumer and consumer 2 is Q2. Okay, and the market demand is P1 is equals to Q1 plus Q2. Okay. When the price decreases from P1 to P2, then the C1 demands from Q1 to Q2 and C2 also demands from Q2 to Q2, and the market demand is equals to P2 is equals to Q2 plus Q2 bar. Okay. So the market demand curve of a good can also be derived from adding up demand curve. It is called as summing horizontal summation. Now we are going to go with the new topic, which is called as price elasticity of demand. Demand for some goods are very responsive to price change, while demand for certain others are not so responsive to price change. So how we will calculate the elasticity of demand? Percentage change in demand divided by percentage change in price. We'll understand the elasticity now. Here you can see whatever be the price, the demand will remain the same. For salt, for petrol, for medicine, for ventilator, whatever be the price, only during the necessity only we will purchase. So whatever be the change in price, it is not going to create any impact in the demand. So elasticity is completely zero. Second one, relatively inelastic. So when the price was something, it demanded this much. When the price reduced this much, again there is no increase in the demand. So this is also called as relatively inelastic. Inelastic demands are specially for the necessity items. Okay, for even if we say there is a discount in Dolo 650, you are not going to go and purchase it more. You will purchase it only when you fell sick. So that is it. Unitary elastic means this is for the discounted item. For example, before there was a 100 rupee burger, but now the 100 rupee burger reduced to 80. So what you did, you purchased more 20 rupees of Coke. So that how much of the price reduced, that much of the unit of the quantity itself you are increasing. Okay, demand also you are increasing. So unitary elasticity is equal to 1. It means the same proportionate of the price decreases, the same proportionate of the quantity increases. Relatively elastic means, yes, this is for the luxurious item like change in gold price or anything. iPhone price is very less today, then they will have a great response. They will immediately go and purchase. So this is called as relatively elastic demand. So this is positively elastic. Any change in price will lead to great change in the quantity. So that is why it is called as elasticity is equals to infinity. So this overall we are going to represent it in a linear demand curve. As you can see, here the elasticity is equals to 0. So this depicts elasticity is equals to 0. And then after then we have elasticity is lesser than 1. This depicts this one, relatively inelastic. After then here you can see it is completely half. So here it is elasticity is equals to 1. This depicts this elasticity. After then it is elasticity is greater than 1. This depicts this elasticity. Lastly, elasticity is equals to infinity. This depicts this elasticity. Okay, so the change in demand per change in the price is equal to, it shows a negative relationship, no? That is why it's minus B. Substituting the value of change in quantity divided by change in P, that is price, elasticity of demand has a negative relationship with the quantity P divided by Q. So overall we have the equation elasticity of demand is equals to BP divided by A minus BP. Okay. P, whenever price is 0, elasticity is 0. When quantity is 0, elasticity is equal to infinity. When price is equal to A by 2B, then elasticity is equals to 1. Because here this is considered as A. This is price is considered as A, quantity is considered as B. So half is A by 2B and this half is A by 2. So A by 2B is equal to elasticity is equals to 1. Okay. By this we are done with this chapter, students. Thank you so much for watching.